Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Versus, where I take two different whiskeys, pit them head to head, and let you know which one deserves the coveted spot on your whiskey shelf. Tonight's episode is on Jameson, specifically the Caskmates. We've got both the IPA and the Stout edition. Now, Jameson takes their used barrels, gives them over to the Franciscan Well Brewery, who then ages their beer in both the IPA and the Stout, and then gives the barrels back to Jameson to finish off their whiskey. So, tonight's episode is called A Jolly Jaunt Through Jameson. Here's some stats. Jameson Stout Edition was introduced in 2014. Its no-age statement, its mash bill is a blend of Irish single pot still, malted and unmalted barley, and grain whiskey. It's got ex-bourbon and ex-stout as its casks. Its ABV is 40%, and its price is about $37. The Jameson IPA Edition, released in 2017, is also no-age statement. It's a single pot still Irish whiskey and single grain Irish whiskey. Ex-bourbon and ex-IPA casks, 40% ABV, and priced at $35. So it seems like things are about as equal as we could possibly hope that they would be, and it really might just come down to which style of beer finishes a better whiskey. Now, I personally love IPAs, and I also love stouts, although I tend to go more for a porter if I'm going for a really heavy beer. But what's your favorite style of beer? What's your favorite brewery? So bonus points below if you answer both of those questions. And the points don't matter. So that's enough of that. Let's just drink. Let's start off with the Stout because it came out first. It came out 2014. So let's do that one first. All right, so let's go ahead and nose this. Smelling whiskey is just a wonderful part of my life. So a few things that you're getting here are actually right off the bat, hay, which is interesting. You would think it would start a little heavier, but I'm thinking just kind of like nice golden fresh hay. Also apple, just kind of crisp apple, crisp pear. This is a lot lighter than you would think being based off of a stout. I might be a little crazy. And I don't think I've had this one before, but I feel like I'm getting a hint of lime in there, which is kind of blowing my mind. I'm not sure that I've smelled this, even when I did kind of my little pre thing here. I don't think I got lime earlier, so I'm going to add that to my list, though. I'm pretty sure I'm smelling that. And then a little bit of like milk chocolate, but that's pretty subtle, so that might just be in my imagination thinking about a stout. All right, let's go ahead and taste. Cheers. Delicious and layered. Really good. So, even in the finish there, that took me a little bit by surprise. I was about ready to start giving notes, and then a new flavor came in. All right, so the taste here, you're starting out. Honestly, it kind of reminds me a little bit of chocolate cake, with a little bit of like whipped cream frosting or something to that effect. No cherry, no nothing like that. Like no like Black Forest cake. More just chocolate. I'm actually not sure if Black Forest cake has cherries on it, but I think it might. It doesn't matter. I'm sure one of you guys will tell me. So, cocoa. Just chocolate, cocoa beans, roasted, slightly kind of chocolatey notes. Milk chocolate specifically as well. So, like, you get two different types of chocolate. You've got kind of that powdered cocoa. Think like a Ghirardelli tin of like hot chocolate cocoa, but then you also have milk chocolate, which is just kind of creamy. So again, that layered chocolate cake with the whipped cream frosting that kind of just came out right immediately, just kind of sinking in. That I think that was a pretty good note actually. There's also butterscotch in here. Let's try another sip here. Yeah, I'm going to double down on the chocolate cake, both in life and also with this whiskey. I'm a man who enjoys cake. All right, let's go ahead and kind of cap that one off here. I think those notes are actually pretty good, very sippable and very enjoyable. All right, let's just have a little bit of water. Quite pleasant, refreshing. All right, let's go into the IPA. You got the brain working a little bit. Now, what do you think when you think IPA? You think hoppy, right? Well, yes, but not as the initial note. I'd say initially it's more of a flowery, not grassy, but like, how do you describe flowery when you think of it? Think flower petal, but not like rose petals, because those have a very specific smell to it. Think like tulips or violet. Think like if you take a petal in your fingers and you just kind of roll it, so it kind of has that gets that color on the pigment on your fingers, has a very specific smell to it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, try that with something purple or yellow. Just, I don't know if I know what I'm talking about, but that's what I'm smelling here, florally. And that's usually what I mean when I say floral. It's not like I think I'm sticking my face in a flower and smelling like a beautiful fragrance. It's like a, just go ahead and try that sometime and smell, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, I've elaborated on that enough that I need another smell. Grapefruit is in there. So when I said hops, those of you that drink a lot of beer and really study it the way that I do whiskey here, because I also kind of do that for beer. I'm just the beer tube or whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm not in that scene. Those guys have, they're all over the place with beers, and they try so many different things. It sounds fun, but I'll stick to whiskey. Anyway, if you think about East Coast IPA versus West Coast IPA, though, you're talking a lot more citrus and fruitiness with the East Coast IPA. And although this is a brewery out of Ireland, I don't know what Irish hops, if that's even where they're getting them from. I honestly don't know a whole lot about that brewery. But the East Coast hops are what I'm smelling in this whiskey. So take that for what it's worth, and if that means anything to you, that should help give a little clarity to the nose. It just smells very good, smells easy. It smells clean, very nice. All right, cheers. Again, hops, a very, what do you want to say here? It's a very full flavor. I'm trying to think of how better to phrase that. It's not viscous. It's not, I guess full-bodied would be what I would say. So the hops, there's citrus in here. Think lemons, think orange. No, don't think orange. Think lemons, think, it's not citrus, but apple, pear, very sweet. And the finish is actually a little bit spicy, not like a rye spice, but more just kind of a classic pot still spice that you could get. If you've had enough Irish whiskeys, again, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's talk overall, because I have to make a decision. That's the challenge I've given myself here. And I will say that between the two of these, I do have a winner. But after letting these breathe for a while, if you notice, they're actually both about, you might not be able to see, but they're both about equivalently empty. And I originally bought these back in March for my Irish Whiskey Month. So it's been, like 7 months that these have been open for. I finished half and just kind of left it. And originally the stout was totally the clear-cut winner for me. And I will say that the stout is still the winner for me. So even after aging, the IPA is okay. It's just not the stout. The stout has way more complexity. Sorry, I'll take that back. The notes and the flavors are way more defined with the stout. And in general, the flavors are things that I enjoy more. I love IPAs, I really do. I find that they're great for a hot day, like an IPA beer. But I also can't say that it was always my favorite. Stouts and porters have been my favorite beers pretty much since I was like in my mid-20s, so like 10 years ago or so. And it's always been a thing I've enjoyed. So stouts, maybe it's my own taste. But I did say at some point this might come down to whether you prefer IPAs or stouts. For my money, I'm going to buy the stout, but they're also very cheap. So if you want to try both, go for it. Better yet, have them both at a bar. I would say start with the stout and see what you think, and then try the IPA. Tasting it in this order, there was no negative effect, especially if you have some water in between. So order both. Don't just drink one full and then drink the other full. Order them both. Have some water in between. Do a little taste test of your own. You'll spend maybe $20 tops, which is less than the price of a single bottle here, and you can make your own decision. My decision is that the Stout is the winner. So, thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Versus. This has been fun, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see me do a challenge of. What do you want to see me do a Versus? My next Versus, I can tell you right now, is going to be the Paul John versus the Amaret, and that's going to be real fun. So, thank you very much for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary, and have a great rest of your night. Cheers.